All right, guys, our next guest was set to take on Johnny Walker at UFC 260, but now takes on Anthony Smith at the ultra-stacked UFC 261. He's not here to fuck spiders, but he's kind enough to chat to us today, this morning. The Brute, Jimmy Crute. Welcome back to Submission Radio, man. It's been way too long since we've spoken to you.
It's been way too long, boys. Way too long.
We missed you, man. A lot has happened in your life. Man, you were set to have this juicy matchup against Johnny Walker at UFC 260 that everybody was excited about. And then, of course, he had to withdraw with the chest injury. How did you actually find out about that?
I was just sort of like in usual training camp, and I think I just finished the session. I got home, and I got a phone call from Sam, and it was just, he just goes, you want the good news or the bad news? And started off with Johnny Walker's out, Anthony Smith's in. And at the start I was pretty gutted because I just wanted to fight Johnny really bad. But then I thought about it, and I didn't even know what I was mad about, because when I thought about it, Anthony Smith was actually the guy that I asked for, and that's the guy that I wanted to fight after I beat Johnny anyway. So it was a win-win for me in the end.
So just quickly, before we get to Anthony, why was it initially that you wanted to fight Johnny so bad?
Because I just wanted to knock him out.
Him particularly, or why was that?
I don't know. I'm sure he's a very nice guy. I've heard from people that he's a really nice guy, but I don't know. There's something about him. I don't want to talk shit about anyone. I'm sure he's a very nice guy. I'll just leave it at that.
Mm. And, I mean, the switching of the dates, how did that sort of impact you? Because I imagine you were sort of geared up to get this Johnny Walker fight going. Now you've got to sort of extend the training camp a little bit, I suppose. Was it a situation where you slowed down a little bit and sort of recover and then get back into that sort of sixth gear? Or is it a situation where you just kept at it the whole time?
Yeah, man, it was tough. I've been in prep since the 13th of December. I think I've had 4 days. I had 4 days off over Chrissy, and I think I've had a day off here and there. So it's been like a 3-month prep, and yeah, to say I'm keen to fight is an understatement. It's been a long prep, but I think I will be the best I've ever been because of it.
Especially coming off the spectacular knockout in your last fight. I'm just wondering, so how did the Anthony Smith fight actually come about? You mentioned that before your last fight, you were having a bit of a tough time finding opponents. Nobody wanted to fight you. So then what happened with Anthony Smith, and how come the UFC were able to organize it so quickly? That seems pretty, ideal for you.
Because it was really good actually, but Anthony Smith was never scared to fight me. I never said Anthony was. There were a few guys that didn't want to fight, but so Anthony, me and Anthony had sort of a little back and forth online, really respectful, and it actually surprised me that he would say that he wanted to fight me. So he was the highest ranked guy that I thought I'd have a chance of fighting, because he said he'd fight me. So I asked the matchmakers, that's who I wanted, and I think they sort of had other plans. I think they wanted me and Johnny to fight, and then the winner gets Anthony, maybe. I don't know exactly what they were thinking, but they were sort of against me fighting Anthony a bit in the beginning. And then when Johnny pulled out, Anthony's got balls of steel, man. He'd just fight anyone. So, I think they called Anthony, and they sort of just knew he was going to say yes, and they knew I was going to say yes, so it was just easy.
Yeah, it's good when all things sort of come together like that. And speaking of Anthony Smith's career, I mean, he's had an interesting one. He's fought across different weight classes. He's fought for the title. He's had to come back from adversity. He's beaten some, legends and some big names. I mean, what do you think of him as an opponent? And where does he rank for you as sort of the toughest opponents that you've faced in the UFC so far? Would he be sort of right up there for you?
Yeah, he's definitely the toughest I've ever fought. Definitely the best guy I've ever fought, hands down. There's no question about that. And it was a great how I look at his career.
Yeah, what do you make of the interesting career that he's had?
Man, it's a great career. He's fought everyone. He's never ducked anyone. He's fought the best. I think you look at his last 10 fights, and they're all against top guys. So I look forward to being another top guy on his resume. Too bad, like I look at him and I have a lot of respect for him, but it's not changing my game plan to try and bash him, you know.
When because I saw in another interview you were saying that you're a fan of his. When did you first sort of, you know, become a fan of his or look up to him, or, you know, when did that happen?
I've always known about him. I didn't really follow him through minutes. I don't really watch fights. I think I knew of him, but like I hadn't watched him because I'm a casual. But when he went on that Shogun, I went, "Oh, this guy's pretty good." And then like just the way he carried himself and the way he's done interviews and all that. I can be a fan of someone for the way they fight. It's one thing, but to actually be a fan of someone for the way they act and stuff is a bigger thing for me. So, yeah.
He's a very nice guy. It's hard to listen to Anthony Smith talk and be like, screw that guy. Like, he's just such a nice guy, such a gentleman. And I know it's your job. I know it's all business. And I know, you hear fighters say it so many times, but, you know, mentally, like, how do you sort of, I guess, switch the gear and prepare to, you know, if things go well, essentially beat the shit out of somebody that you actually really like, and that afterwards, like, I'm sure you guys would shake hands and have a beer, but how do you flick that switch in your mind?
I don't know. It's easy for me. Like, I enjoy fighting people I like because it's not a malicious thing. I don't fight someone to try and hurt them. I'm fighting because I like fighting. So, you know, ask my training partners. we cop hidings back and forth. So, you know, bashing people that I like isn't too hard for me when it comes to fighting. Like, so it's because it's not. To me, I don't even think that I'm hurting someone when I'm fighting. Because I don't get hurt. Like, it's a weird thing, and it's not to hurt them. It's to fight, and I enjoy fighting. So,
let's talk about the fight itself, Jimmy. How do you sort of see the matchup with yourself and Anthony? And when you think about your skill sets and how they match up on the octagon, like, what do you sort of foresee when you look at this matchup and how it plays out?
I definitely have to be on my toes, and I can't run into any traps. I feel like not really. There's a few ways Anthony can take it. He can look at me like a young buck and try and get it over me and sort of do what Misha did and then capitalize on my aggressiveness, or he can sort of rope the dope and try and do what he did to Volkan Ozdemir. But I just got to focus on what I got to do. Whatever he does is on him. It's either gonna get him into trouble or delay the inevitable. So I just got to keep on my toes and touch him up until I find an opening to put him away. Got to be smart. I feel like striking, I've got a massive power advantage, but I've also got a huge speed advantage, which I don't think he's accounting for. I think he just thinks about the power advantage that I have, not the speed advantage. And a technical advantage. I think my hands are much more crisp than his. And on the ground, he's probably got a jiu-jitsu advantage, but I feel like I have a grappling advantage. So yeah, I feel like I'm going to be okay wherever the fight goes. And as long as I stick to my game plan and stick to what I need to do, I'm going to make it look easy. It's not going to be easy, but I feel like I'll make it look easy.
Don't forget the spinning back heel kicks. I saw you practicing on Insta, so that's always in the arsenal as well.
Flying elbows back to each other.
That's it. I know. You're pulling all the tricks out. But I also wanted to ask you, like, since the Misha fight, what do you think is the biggest difference for you? I feel like we're always seeing you improve, like, massively from fight to fight, but I feel like that was a pretty key fight where I don't know, you sort of turned a corner. What's the biggest difference from sort of the Jimmy in that fight to now?
Mental. It's all mental. I wouldn't know where to exactly pinpoint it, but yeah, it'd just be a mental thing. I had to deal with a lot of insecurities and stuff that I had. That fight sort of made it obvious that they were there. So mental. Physically, obviously, I'm improving every day, but you know, if you don't look after your mentality and stuff, you're not going to get as far physically.
And it's feel free to not really go into it too much, but can you just sort of shed a little bit of light? Like, what kind of insecurities are you talking about? Is it the pressures of being in the fight and sort of the high pressure situation in the octagon? Are you talking about other things? What kind of stuff were you dealing with?
The high pressure one thing, but like, I don't know, that little voice in your head that tells you all the shit things about yourself and all.
Oh yeah, we deal with it every day, man.
Yeah.
Normally comes from head noise after a big sesh, but just things like that, man. Like, I don't want to go too far into it, but we dealt with it and we're better because of it.
Yeah, well, it definitely shows. So if you go in there, everything goes to plan, and you make it look easy, like you're planning on. What kind of message do you think it sends to the division, the rest of the division, for you to go in there and take out a former title challenger?
I've got to take him out to send a real message. But
as in finish him?
Yeah. I feel like I've got to finish him and send him. I'll just bash the shit out of him for 3 rounds. Can't be close. I feel like the top 5 won't. They'll take notice, but they won't take notice, if you know what I mean. So I just keep doing me, and I bet Anthony Smith. He's 6th in the world. That puts me around about there, and then I'll be fighting a top 5 guy, and then it just sets up my run. That's all it does.
Yeah, and what a run it is, and what a run it's going to be, man. That top 5 is no joke. We're very excited for it. Speaking of runs, if you've already bought the Manscaped Lawnmower 3.0 and you're running that bad boy over your balls to make them nice and smooth, why not get the Manscaped cologne, the refined cologne, the Manscaped signature scent, light, approachable, gentlemanly, like James Bond. It is calm and inviting with a citrus burst and a woody masculine finish. All things that you want from a nice manly cologne, a beautiful bottle, a hyperallergenic, vegan, and the good friends at Manscaped, who are also our official sponsor, giving you 20% off with the code submission. Not just on the cologne, not just on the Lawnmower 3.0, not just on their nose hair trimmers, but everything site-wide. Use the promo code submission and get your discounts. Isn't that right, Dennis?
That's right, Cass. And speaking of saving cash, our friends at The Ridge have a great deal for all the Submission Radio watchers and listeners out there. Check out Casper's wallet right there. It holds up to 12 cards. There's room for cash, 30 colors, 40,000 5-star reviews. It is one durable wallet. And if you guys go on to The Ridge, that's ridge.com/submission. Use code word submission. You get 10% off today with free worldwide shipping and returns. Go to ridge.com. Check it out. Check out this bag. They have all sorts of things for you guys. It's not just wallets. And Cass, also, with the big fights this weekend, there's only one place to go to make some serious cash off UFC 261. Forget the rest. Go to MyBookie. Sign up with promo code submission to take advantage of an up to $1,000 bonus bet on your first deposit. That's promo code submission. Grab yourself a free cash bonus on top of free bets and all sorts of boosted odds on MyBookie. Bet anything, anytime, anywhere with MyBookie and with the code word submission. Sign up now. But Jimmy, let's talk about the light heavyweight division, because it's an interesting place, isn't it? I mean, it feels like, a lot of guys have retired, moved on, and there's a lot of opportunities for young and up-and-coming guys to move up the ladder quickly. It looks like Jan Blachowicz is really looking for challenges and guys that he can verse if he can get through Glover Teixeira next. What do you make of the division right now as it stands, and the sort of the names that you're looking at in that top 5?
Yeah, how crazy, like 3-4 years ago, with my run, I'd probably be fighting for a title. Now it's like, it's a lot more to get through to get to the title compared to a few years ago. So I'm super excited, man. I feel like in the next few years, light heavyweight can have one of the strongest divisions, and it's probably had the second weakest division for years now, up until this point. So, man, what can I say? There's just so many good challenges and opportunities and people to fight. It excites me.
What do you make of Jan as the champ, and also that close battle that he had with Israel Adesanya?
I really like Jan. I think he's a cool guy. I like his style. He's a lot better. I think he gets underrated. Like, you look at his skill set, and he's really good, man. Mm. When I first started watching him, I sort of didn't give him the credit he deserved, and then when I had a really good study of him, and I went, oh fuck, like, this guy's actually knows what he's doing. Obviously he won the title after that, but yeah, that and the fight with Israel, that was cool. Israel definitely had a good account of himself, but it's just that wrestling and size advantage was just too much. Like I'm not a fight analyst. I'm not going to sit here and break down a fight. It gets boring as shit. But when someone does that, but yeah, it was fun to watch, and you know, it was cool to see Israel have some success, and because I'm obviously a massive Israel fan, I respect that guy heaps. So. But yeah, it was cool to watch.
Do you think it was kind of good for the division though? Because obviously a lot of people were picking Israel to beat Jan. I think the narrative was sort of like, oh, Jan's kind of like easy pickings, and then not only did he hang in there, but he did great. You know, he beat Israel on the feet, and I feel like, you know, when someone like John Jones leaves the division, people are kind of waiting a little while before they see the champ as like legitimate, because there's that old shadow of the former champion. But I feel like. I don't know, do you feel like this kind of helped people go, damn, this guy really is good. He just beat Israel on the feet, which is good for you. You know, if you climb the division, then fight a guy who, you know, has so much legitimacy behind him.
Yeah, definitely, man. It was, how would you say it? It got the casuals on board for him. You know, people like me, no, not really. I'm not that much. not as much as a casual as some other people, but people that sort of like half follow the sport that are probably just know Israel and don't know any other fighters got to see Jan and see that, you know, there's other really elite level fighters, and it's super exciting. You know, like I was sort of thinking like, well, if Israel wins the title, is he going to defend it? Am I going to get a crack if he at the champ, or are they going to have to make a new belt or what? Like. So Jan's sitting there, like I think Jan's pretty determined to stay at light heavyweight, and no matter who wins now, like there's a route for me, and there's not going to be as much waiting around.
Obviously,
fights first, but
yeah, and obviously your focus on Anthony Smith, excuse me, but when you see Jan and the performance that he put in against Israel, does a part of you sort of go back to the gym with your coach, Sam Greco, and the other guys, Dan Kelly and stuff, and sort of think about, man, what would that battle between me and Jan look like? Because just thinking about it is so exciting. Obviously, both of you guys have such exciting striking styles. It would just be an absolute banger of a fight.
Yeah, I think it would be. I haven't given it too much thought. I've been thinking about Anthony Smith. I haven't done any breakdowns of any other fighters, except for Anthony Smith. So we're just focused on that. But yeah, like I think we don't even have to dive too far into it to understand that fight would have been actually absolute banger.
I saw that you you put a little bit of money on Jan to beat Dominic Reyes. I think initially you had money on Reyes, and then you watched some fights, and then you were like, I think I'm going to put a little bit of money on Jan. How often do you bet on fights?
I have a punt here and there. Don't have my picks; they're normally pretty bad, but I normally bet with my heart, which is the worst thing you can do. But every now and then.
Have you had any big wins? Anything that really paid off for you?
I don't know, man.
We're absolutely terrible punters. I think Dennis and I have the worst track record.
Anytime we pick anyone, we always lose. And by the way, in MMA, it's like it's impossible to pick the right picks all the time. It's like there's so many variables, right? It's so hard.
You go through really like you feel unbeatable because you get like a string of like 3 or 4 fights. And fuck yeah. And you start fight multis, and then you just like.
Yeah. All right, well, I guess the most important pick of all is how do you see yourself getting the job done against Anthony Smith at the massive UFC 261?
Yeah, so I feel like it's going to go one or two ways. It's going to be an absolute dogfight for 3 rounds with me getting the better, or I'm going to put him away violently. I don't see it being too competitive where it's just like back and forth affair. I feel like if it is a dogfight, it's going to be him just surviving and then maybe getting a little bit of success and then surviving again. But I don't expect it to be easy though. But I feel like once he feels the other elements of my game, not just the power and strength that he expects, but like the speed, the angles, the technique, I feel like it's going to really put a hold to him really quickly. So, yeah. I don't want to give too much away.
Yeah. Well, it sounds super exciting. We can't wait to see it. And also, just quickly, I mean, you're on a massive card, 3 title fights. It's culminating in the Usman Masvidal rematch. I know you mentioned you don't watch too many fights, but how does it feel to be on such a big fight card, and also on a card with so many big names that I'm sure you would have watched in the past?
Fans back. Yeah, it's awesome, man. Like, this is the biggest pay-per-view. I've only fought on one pay-per-view before, and then the main event got canned last minute. So like this is the first proper pay-per-view I fought on to be on the main card. It's pretty cool. Pretty cool experience. And to have fans back, it's going to be pretty wild.
You're not taking any punts on this card, are you? Got any money down for Usman Masvidal? Nah. Well, we're very excited, man. Jimmy Crute versus Anthony Smith at UFC 261 on April 24th. It's going to be the 25th in Australia and New Zealand because of the time difference. And it's got fans, man. Fans, finally. So we're going to be very excited. Follow the man at Jimmy Crute UFC on social media. And, dude, 25, owning your own house, man. A massive, massive congratulations. And best of luck in the fight, man. Thanks for your time, Jimmy.
Appreciate it, boys.